Hi, I'm Marie.
And I'm Russell.
And we're still standing with Ukraine. And today we're going to tackle a little bit about something we get questioned about a lot. But before we do that, I wanted to show you something that we have to show people a lot at the fairs that we do. Russell had me do a small version of this, but I made a bigger one for you today. And this is the Ukrainian trident, the trizub. And it's artistically spells volya. Volya, this is the Cyrillic form of the word. Is the B is a V, the O is an O. This little staple type thing is an L, and the backwards R is a Y-A, a ya sound, volya. So volya stands for freedom. And last year, the motherland statue, the hammer and sickle that was put up by Russia, was taken down, and the trident was put up on the shield that she holds. And we get asked a lot because we've sold these hats with the symbol on it. And usually when we tell the story, it's something people want to acquire, because another thing we used to sell a lot at the beginning, almost 4 years ago, was a t-shirt. We're here in New Hampshire, and a lot of Ukrainians came here and have lived here for some years, and they knew the motto of New Hampshire was live free or die. And they used to put that live free or die on the t-shirts, and we sold a lot of those. So today we're talking about how we could help. We have answered that question. We answered that question ourselves almost 4 years ago. How can we help? We started by doing a number of things. Russell more than I, because at that time I had come back from a massive coronary, so I was kind of still very weak. But he would do a lot of lifting and carrying things around to load up containers to send to Poland, which in turn made its way into Ukraine, and would help a number of organizations, including a very nice Syrian organization that would not only send things to Syria and Lebanon, but they would also help by sending the containers to Ukraine. It was somewhat of a time. I would fold some clothes and Russell would do the heavy lifting. And then we found a group of women that ran a Ukrainian cultural festival in Londonderry, and they sold a bunch of дуже смачна їжа, which means very tasty food, and sure was tasty, but also some crafts and things. And Russell goes, oh, we could do this, and sure enough, we could. And some other people along the way have done the same thing. They've crafted things and given them to us, or crafted blankets and given them to different organizations, including Dobro New England, who we help, and those were forwarded on to people who needed them in Ukraine. And so not everybody can do this. It's labor intensive, and not everybody can. I couldn't do a whole lot of it to begin with. But there's a lot of things that people can do, and we do other things as well. So, Russell, there's a few different things. So, can you start by just what would be one thing that would be easy to do?
Easy to do?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on your personality, I guess. There are a lot of things that people can do, ordinary citizens can do, without too much effort. I think one thing that I think is important is to call your representatives in Washington. We're here in New Hampshire. We record these shows in New Hampshire. So I won't give you the numbers of our representatives, but you can call your representatives in Washington to encourage them to help Ukraine. I guess we'll run through, there are a few things I'm going to mention, but let me, so people know what's coming up. You can also attend protests, which is going to be a little longer to explain later on. Also write letters to the editor, or op-eds, or post things on social media. And finally, you can donate money or items. So basically, we have 4 basic categories there that we're going to go into more detail on, I think.
So tell us more about calling your representatives.
Yeah, so calling your representatives, I just did this, in fact, the other day because I was testing a phone number. I didn't know what would happen, but I got my representative in Washington, so I spoke with him, or a staffer. Most people in Congress support Ukraine. During the Biden years, when aid packages were being approved every year, that was shown every time a vote came up. Something like 75% of Congress approved these aid packages to Ukraine. So that's all the Democrats, and a good number of the Republican people were supporting it. And that's still the case, that a lot of Congress is in support of Ukraine. So I think if you're lucky and you live in a state like that, you can call your senators or your representatives and just give them a little encouragement, a pat on the back, and say, we support Ukraine, we're your constituents, we support Ukraine, we appreciate what you're doing, keep up the good work. If you live in a state whose Congress people do not support Ukraine, you should probably know these things already, but if you don't, you can find out easily enough. You should tell them, I'm a constituent, I vote every year, and I want Ukraine to be helped, and I want you to do what you can in Washington to help Ukraine win this war. And the more people that do this, these things get noted down and tabulated, and the congressmen know what their constituents are calling about and what is on their mind and so on.
Yeah, even if you're leaving a message, because a lot of times it's just a message that you leave, right?
Right. A lot of times you won't actually get your representative or so on, but you'll talk to a paid staffer who may, I don't know exactly what they do there in the office all day, they may be assigned to just do this sort of thing. And they'll record your comments. The number, let me give you the number before I forget. If you call 202, you can rewind this or hit pause or whatever. The phone number to call is 202-224-3121. That will connect you with what they call the Capitol switchboard. Mm-hmm. And so let me do that once more. 202-224-3121. So you can call and leave a message by voice. Another thing you should do probably is send an email. And
that's usually easy to do, because I've done that going to the website for the congressperson, to the senator, or to the representatives. They each have a website, and it usually, they give you like a form that you can easily fill and just put a little message and hit send. You don't even have to go to your email.
Yeah, and if you don't know your senators and representatives' names, or you probably don't know their contact information online, you can just type in House.gov or Senate.gov.
And that too, yeah.
And that'll connect you with the information page. It'll give you the contact information for people in the House of Representatives or people in the Senate. So it's very easy to do. And the message, if you leave a voice message spoken to whether to a person or to the answering machine, it can be very short. Let me see what I told this person. I wrote it down so I could repeat it for you guys.
Right down here.
Okay, you can say something as simple as, these folks, they want to know what's on your mind, but they don't have all day to talk with you. So you can just say something, I want to encourage Senator so-and-so to continue voting in favor of any aid to Ukraine. Defeating Russia now will protect all of Europe for years to come. And what would that take, 5 or 6 seconds? And the person jots down some notes, probably just saying in favor of Ukraine or not in favor of Ukraine. And they do tabulate this information and pass it on to the senator or representative periodically. So it's important to do, I think.
Yeah, very important. So And it doesn't cost anything, just a little bit of time, and it's not much time to just pick up the phone, get through, and zip that message out. And yeah, you mentioned attend protests.
Attend protests. This is more fun. This is a lot more fun than making a phone call. But okay, let's be honest here. With Donald Trump's authoritarian ways and his hold on the majority of Congress, the majority of the House of Representatives, and the majority in the Senate, on the world stage and in the world's eyes, and as far as United States international policy goes, the United States is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the United States.
Yeah.
So if you want to protest in favor of Ukraine or in favor of Volodymyr Zelensky, you probably won't see any kind of protest scheduled. Show up Sunday and protest in favor of Zelensky. But you will see things that say, no King's Days, not my President's Day, things like this, protesting against the Trump regime or administration, whatever you want to call it. Protesting against Trump's administration is protesting in favor of Ukraine, because Donald Trump is no fan of Ukraine or Zelensky, as has been made quite apparent several different times in the past few months.
Yeah, we did, just earlier, we did another interview, the two of us together, about the past few, what's happened during Trump's administration, the roller coaster ride of, yes, we'll help, no, we won't, no, we won't, yes, we will. So you're left on edge all the time, wondering if something's going to be helpful or not. And it appears most times, rather than not, that it's not going to be helpful for Ukraine. There's not going to be much help coming from this administration for Ukraine. So we've been present at each of the rallies that are local to us with, I wear the crown, we bring the Ukrainian flag, and we're standing for Ukraine, not just here on this show, but also in front of the State House. Yeah. So these protests have all been quite peaceful and nice, and you said it was fun.
Yeah, peaceful is a key word, and fun. People dress up as chickens. You can figure out why they do that, and other fun animals and so on. And it's fun to see the traffic going by and honking in support of you and so on. And yeah. It's fun to see the attendance numbers at these protests rise from a few thousand nationwide to 7 million at the latest No Kings protest. Mm-hmm. Was the latest estimate, 7 million people turning out. So maybe we can go on to another way that people can help. Writing letters. Was there more you wanted to say about the protests?
Well, yeah. Well, the protests seem to work as far as history has told us. So, if you're standing with Ukraine and you want to make a difference in Ukraine, and make this known to the powers that be, it's only going to help when a mass of people are showing up to say so, because we vote for the people in office, and if they hear from us that they don't like, that the people don't like what's going on and they want something different, they will react. It's caused a lot of things to change in the past, and so, yeah.
Well, I think I can get these numbers right, but they say studies of periods, troubled periods in the past have shown, like when the civil rights protests and so on, if 3.5% of a country's population is peacefully protesting against the current administration, that usually leads to dramatic and fairly rapid, significant change. And this last protest, I think I'm getting this right, they said they represented about 2% of the adult population of the country or something.
They've been
like that.
getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, people are not happy with what's going on. Not everybody can make it to a protest either, just like the first thing, like lifting and doing things. Not everybody can do everything, but if you can get to a protest, it will make a difference in the future. So there's writing letters and op-eds, and you do that a lot.
Yeah, Marie's the artist. In fact, we brought some of these things back that we showed you last time to show some of the pretty artwork that Marie does to sell at craft fairs and so on. I can't do things like that, but I can. I have a lot of opinions, and when I write them down, it's called a letter to the editor, or an op-ed piece to a newspaper. And this is another thing that anybody can do. Write a letter to the editor, to your local newspaper. They're usually pretty short, like 150, 200, 300 words, which is really pretty easy to write. It seemed hard when you were in high school, but now 200 words is not very bad.
For you.
Well, once you get used to it. I like to think when I'm writing a letter to the editor or something like that I'm magnifying my influence. I mean, I can call the White House and tell them to help Ukraine and so on, but if I put a letter to the editor in the paper and get 5 other people to write a letter and 5 other people to write, and then they get people to do things, you can magnify your influence this way. And you can also write what they call op-eds, which is short for opinion editorial, like I said, opinion editorial. Nobody calls it that. It's op-eds, which are usually longer pieces. And I've gotten several op-eds in the local New Hampshire papers over the last few months, and I think, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I think I've kind of convinced one of these newspapers that I am his go-to expert on Ukraine or something, because I'll write several different things on slightly different themes relating to Ukraine, and they always seem to get printed. But the op-eds require a little more research and effort on your part, because they're usually more stringent in looking for, even what's called opinion ed, they're looking for more facts and research than the letters to the editor do.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time researching those.
So anybody can look at YouTube videos, watch some of these YouTube people broadcasting from Ukraine, so on, become an expert. And you can be your local newspaper's go-to expert on Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do, really.
Yeah, because you don't just watch, we've mentioned before Jake Bro, who does a lot of YouTube videos, but you watch quite a few different ones from Times and Anna and...
Well, yeah, and that makes me think, when you're talking about Jake Bro and so on, people kind of view letter to the editor, I think, in newspapers in general, anything in print, as old-fashioned and falling out of favor. But when you send an op-ed or a letter to the editor, at least in our case here in New Hampshire, they are printed in a newspaper, and they're also put on a website of the newspaper, so people can read these things online.
Yeah.
And you also made me think of the social media.
Social media, yeah.
Everybody's got Facebook pages now, it seems. You can put your opinions on Facebook in support of Ukraine, encouraging people to support Ukraine. You can repost photos or videos of things coming back from Ukraine. The news, the 6 o'clock news and so on, doesn't cover Ukraine much and show many videos from there. But there's a lot of things that you can find on social media to repost and get more information out there about what's going on over there.
Yeah, and something that I started doing, because some things are very controversial and you don't want to put them maybe on your Facebook page. So there's I don't know if you're familiar with Facebook or not, but there's a thing called stories that what you put on, it only lasts 24 hours. So when you put, like if you share something that may seem controversial into stories, it doesn't last a whole long time. And people, if they want to look at it, will spend more time on it or not. And I tend to put a mix of things on my stories. It could be about like what happened a few days ago where the children were in school, and they had to go down into the basement, into the shelter, because they were a target of Vladimir Putin, and they were bombed. And so the children were rescued from the bomb shelter when the fire started in the building. One of the teachers passed away from the fire because she was from the bombing because she was upstairs. But I put that. It didn't show anything drastic. It didn't show anything super bad, except for the fact that these children were being rushed out of the building by first responders. And so I put that in there, but I also mix it with happy things, like when they save a pet, or in the field, in the front lines, they have a lot of kits with them in the trenches, because that they either lost somebody that was their human, and they ended up being saved by the defenders, and they take care of the mice and rat system in the trenches, but they also are taking care of the soldiers as comfort.
Well, I can't help it. I think I heard you say kit instead of cat.
Oh, yeah.
You're speaking Ukrainian again. So she's talking about when the soldiers adopt cats.
Yeah, and so, I kind of put that in there, or the nice stories too. So yes, you can do things like that to spread news and also something positive at the same time as well. And then there's donate to charities.
Well, okay, one last, you made me think, one last thing with writing. Okay. Because you made me think, you can, if you're going to post things on social media or write an op-ed or something, you can make it your own and unique to you. If you're a teacher, you can write about the attacks on school buildings and so on, or the need for teaching supplies in Ukraine. If you're in the medical field, you can talk about, medical help and so on, and you can, take a positive slant or kind of a negative slant. You can post videos on your Facebook to show the gory things that we don't usually see, if that's what you want to emphasize, or you can show the kittens and the soldiers and so on. So you can make it your own and do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But so then, the last thing is
donate.
Donate to charities. Okay, this is probably the easiest to do, but it's going to cost you the most money because you can donate money. In New England, we're in New England. I think we mentioned this before, and we have 4 really good, pretty well-known charities here in New England that we're always thinking about. And wherever you live, because I like to think people all over the country are maybe seeing this on YouTube, you can find your own local charities if that's what you want. You can always donate to things like International Red Cross or a Catholic Relief Fund, nationally known organizations, but just be aware that they're going to have pretty significant expenses because they advertise and they have paid positions and so on. And if you pick a more local, smaller charity, you can do your own due diligence and see that they're for real. They've got the 501c3 papers that designate they're registered with the government and so on. And then you feel comfortable donating, and you know that more of it's going to help. So we've got 4 that we talk about a lot in New England here. There's something called Dobro New England, and then there's something called the Sunflower of Peace, New Hampshire for Ukraine, and the Common Man for Ukraine. So we can say a little bit about each of those.
Yeah, and so the Dobro New England is the one that we've been helping the most. And so when we do fairs and whatnot, that all the funds end up going to Dobro New England. And they are helping mainly the defenders right now. They have helped with babies in the hospital in Odessa. They help people near the front lines early on with camp stoves and medicine and food and TP and whatnot. But lately it's been a lot of food and medicine and tourniquets to help save lives. And then there's Common Man for Ukraine, and Common Man for Ukraine helps the kids a lot. They started by giving lots and lots and lots of groat. That's a grain. And also, more lately, they've been helping with helping kids after their parent has lost their life at the front line. And then even more recently, the mothers of those that have fallen are receiving some help too. They do like telehealth with the wellness, and also they do retreats for the kids. And then there's New Hampshire for Ukraine. Brian Nolan is heads that up, and he's in Kharkiv. He's in Kharkiv, right, and bringing food and things right to the front line. Kharkiv was taken early, and then Ukraine got it back, and they've been hitting Kharkiv hard for almost 4 years now. And he's in there. He comes back to the U.S. for a bit of fundraising, and then goes right back. He's there right now. And then there's one more. What's the other one?
We didn't talk about the Sunflower Peace.
Sunflower Peace, yeah, and out of Boston. And Sunflower Peace is, I'm not so familiar with Sunflower Peace, but they collect medical supplies and they put them into like backpacks to get them to the front line. So they're there for the frontline medics to help save lives as well. And so
I think every charity we've talked about until now has started since the latest full-scale invasion in 2022. The Sunflower Peace, they've been around since 2014.
Oh, yeah.
So these people got started helping Ukraine when Russia first invaded Ukraine, Crimea.
Yeah. Yes.
And some of these charities that we're talking about here, like the lady who runs the Sunflower Peace, and the gentleman Nolan who runs New Hampshire for Ukraine. These are just regular, average people with jobs. The war started, and they said, there's got to be something I can do to help.
Like you.
Yeah, man, I think I'm doing a lot to help. We think we're doing a lot to help, and then I read about people like this. So there's always more to do. Mm-hmm. And you can probably find, like I said, local charities around your area that you can work with directly, maybe physically helping them pack boxes or something, or donate money.
Or
the Ukrainian war has fallen off the front page of the newspapers, and it's fallen off, top story on the 6 o'clock news, but
they get hit every day.
Every single day. That's not an exaggeration.
And they are so wanting peace because they're so tired.
Civilians are getting hit every single day.
Yeah,
the civilians of Ukraine are being bombed and hit with cruise missiles from Russia every single day, sometimes hundreds of missiles. And for some reason, the 6 o'clock news doesn't think this is exciting anymore, but they still need a lot of help from ordinary people.
If you've heard previous episodes that we've done, the Svetlana, even when she was in Odessa earlier this summer, she was here and she was putting on the siren sound that she recorded from back then, and she was not used to the siren sound. It was very scary, and people around were not reacting to it. And she's like, oh, why aren't you reacting to this? They hear this every day, so they look up and they see how serious is this threat before they react. That's almost crazy in my mind too. So yeah, it's every day, but nobody will know how horrible it is except for the people that live through it day after day, because they want to remain in their home and not lose their home, not lose their identity, because the minute they give up, they lose it all. And they know this.
So as you can tell, we could talk about this for hours, but there's lots that you can do. Hopefully we can encourage some people to help. Those who are helping, you can always do a little more maybe. And we want to thank everybody for standing with Ukraine with us.
Yeah, thank you, Concord TV, for always supporting us. And thank you for watching our YouTube channel. If that's where you're at, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And Slava Ukraini.
Heroam Slava. You're going to get used to hearing us say that. Thank you.
And that's glory to the Ukraine and glory to the heroes.